What are we doing here? We are here because I'm gonna interview Gus Van Sant in a few hours. We are going to the Sophie Hotel in Villa Borghese and we're gonna have a great fun, guys. Come with me. Let's go. So guys, we are at Battistini. This is a very old and important metro station in Roma. Battistini means Little Battista. I'm Giovanni Battista. So this is my metro station. Come with me, let's go. I'm gonna jump, guys, I'm gonna jump. How do you say, Daniela, how do you say capolinea in English? Capolinea, how do you say? Go find on internet. I think it's illegal to film in the metro, so don't be too, be shady. La faccio con gli occhiali da sole l'intervista. Qua ci mettete una canzone di Shiva. Dobbiamo muoverci. Andiamo. I take a big shit in the bathroom of Sophie Hotel. Salve, buongiorno. Faccio un salto in bagno forse prima del caffè.
Is your podcast about music?
No, it's more about cinema, but we talk about different subjects. So yeah, if you want, we can talk about music a lot. I love Elliott Smith soundtrack in your movie. I grew up with that. Also, Elliott Smith became one of my favorites, and I discovered it from your movies.
We have no Elliott Smith in this movie.
In this movie, no.
No.
Because it's older
like in,
soundtrack.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, Good Will Hunting. Also in Paranoid Park.
Yeah.
I think.
I was, when I did To Die For, we were looking for a heavy metal band and from Portland because we figured it would be cheaper, and somebody sent us, the person that was sending me records sent me Elliott Smith, which wasn't heavy metal, and but we listened to it anyway, like a lot. And so when the next film was Good Will Hunting, I thought this is perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
So I used it like a lot.
Yeah, I think it's the only score.
It's the only musical score.
The only musical score. Yeah, I think it's perfect for the whispering soft rock now with a very intimate movie such Will Hunting. It matched perfectly the vibe. Hey Gus, thank you to be here.
Thanks.
So Dead Man's Wire is set in the 70s in a snowy Indianapolis. So the first question I want to ask you is how much it changed your process when you work on something based in the past or something contemporary?
Well, I think so many of my movies have been made in the 70s, like starting with Malinoche, Drugstore Cowboy, My Own Private Idaho. Although Idaho is maybe an indeterminate time. To Die For, I think, was more 80s. But I was used to working in that period.
Okay.
So it didn't really, except you need to get the cars. The cars were really difficult because now it's so advanced in time that like they're 40 years old, 50 years old, these cars.
Of course.
So they broke a lot.
Also for the music it changed, huh? So you couldn't use any music from past the 70s.
Yeah, we didn't use music that was too far past 1977.
Also, a lot of your movies are about true stories. And so, like, what's the best way to tell a true story? Because I think Werner Herzog said, like, he used ecstatic truth, where reality blends with fiction.
Yeah.
You're more kind of psychological truth, where you start from a real story and you dive deep into the psychological.
Yeah, I mean, Werner is a good guide for me. I mean, he was an influence on like Idaho, for instance. but I think what he's saying, it's you can't you can never keep to the truth because it's mysterious anyway. You know, it's like you would have to expand it, even if you were being very true. And in expanding it, you necessarily have to like interpret, and which is maybe what he means ecstatic. You know, you're like you're going into another world where you're making poetry out of it. So I mean, it's the same with me. Maybe not as extreme as Werner. I think Werner gets
a bit extreme.
He gets like much more ecstatic. But yeah, the guide is the origins, the original people. That sometimes you find something out, like as you're filming, somebody says something and you're like, oh, okay, that changes everything.
Yeah.
So you kind of keep working. Yeah, you react to it. In this film, Dacre discovered that he was tied to the shotgun, but he was moved into the bathroom with chains.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have that in the script, but we changed it and we wrote some scenes.
Okay. And I found like very interesting the use of low definition footage and black and white archive style photo in your movie. Do you think in this movie particularly, do you think poor images in some way creates a deeper sense of authenticity for the audience?
Oh, using different media.
Yeah, mixing with.
I think maybe like just the internet is like freed a lot of, you know, my, you know, accepting of different media within a piece. But since we're like in To Die For was written for different media, we're sort of it was such a news item, and it was such a there were so many photographers and like videographers at the original event that we, you know, naturally like realized that we could see through their cameras too.
So it's a different point of view inside the story.
Mm.
Okay, makes sense.
So it's part of the reality, informed it, you know.
So in some way, yes, it makes a deeper sense of authenticity for the audience who's watching.
Yeah, and then the stills came from our still location, still photographer. So it was just another another representation of the physicality of the story. That probably was, we were using it to, I think, just interrupt the moment, you know, with a still moment, okay, which would be like propelling, but at the same time still.
Okay. And you say that filmmaking became more journalist in some way, and journalism became more fictional.
Yeah.
Do you trust images less today?
Yeah, especially today. I mean, I was just watching the internet, like the AI.
Yeah.
There's a lot of AI images of bears attacking grandmas on the front porch that I'm assuming are not real. But last year there was none of this, you know. Like,
yeah, the line is fading.
It's and so now little things, like even dance groups, when they're dancing, you're wondering, oh, are they making it perfect? Because it's so perfect that they can, like, you know,
just fix it with
fix it. Yeah.
Got you.
Or even like type it in, like fix the.
Yes. Yeah, they can. No. And okay, I heard about your story with Pasolini, that you met him while he was finishing Salò, and that he was a bit rude with you, trying to explain your idea of cinema. Do you think you have some connection with Pasolini apart from this?
I mean, we're both gay, for one thing. There was I didn't know when I met him. We were brought to visit Lina Wertmüller, Fellini, Latuada.
You met Fellini?
Yes, yes,
really?
And Casanova.
Wow.
Yeah, during the same trip. It was a 6-week trip.
It was an amazing trip.
Yeah, it was a good year, 1975, and Pasolini was just about to die. I mean, it was like a month or two before, and we went to his house, which was in an eroding castle outside of town, which is probably still there. And he basically, as a way to talk to the students, he just asked each of us what we wanted to do in cinema, because we were cinema students.
Yes.
And when it got to me, I was trying to say I wanted to do what I felt. What I was trying to say, I didn't say this. I wanted to do what I felt literature could do, get into all the different moments and emotions and, sidebars. And I said it in a way where it sounded like I meant I wanted to translate words into images. And so his reaction, it wasn't rude. He just went like, like, why would you do that? He didn't understand, because he was right too. It was like just translating words into images was not necessarily a good preoccupation.
Yeah. And Fellini?
Fellini was, it was very funny. It was nighttime. They were shooting Casanova. The tallest woman in the world was there. She was from Ohio. So we, as U.S. students, we were talking to her.
You were all Americans, the students.
We were all Americans. But there were 25 people sitting in director's chairs behind the camera. So like in a square, there was all these people, and I asked our guide, Gideon Bachman, he wasn't there, but I asked one of the people with us, who are all the people? And they were all friends who claimed that Fellini could not work without them there. So he put them in this group. And at one moment, the tallest woman, she stood up. She had an extra big chair.
Yeah.
And all the people like went like that, as if it was a monster thing, standing up.
And about literature, I know that you interviewed David Foster Wallace a long time ago. Or maybe later than Fellini and Pasolini, but still, later. For me it's a huge thing, because I'm a huge fan of Wallace's work, and yours too. And I want to ask you, like, if you look back at that interview, do you think there's something that can connect again your work and the word he was describing?
You mean his words, or?
Yes, like, I think his psychological research inside the character.
Yeah, I was going to, we visited him. It wasn't an interview, but we went. My boyfriend and I were traveling across country, and we were nearby where he lived. So we called and said, we're thinking of, there was an Infinite Jest project that we were thinking of doing. So, so it was the book. So he said, drop by, because we were passing by in a car.
You just did the Will Hunting, before?
We had shot Good Will Hunting.
You were talking about Will Hunting, mathematical. It was very specific.
In the interview.
Yeah.
I think later he and I talked on the phone for an interview.
Oh, okay.
So, but
I read that.
When we met him, we were just. It was maybe before Good Will Hunting. I can't remember, but
you went to his house. So.
We went to his house because of his book, and it was just a very simple American, single floor house, but it was where he worked and where he lived, and his dog or dogs were there, and his computers were there, where he wrote, and he took us to a small restaurant, which was his favorite restaurant, and we just talked about kind of normal stuff. He was, I'm sure, in his world, these types of visits are somewhat interruptions, and in his in
his thinking process,
thinking about what he was writing probably. And I asked him, things like, do you read books to inspire you? And he was like, well, I read books that apply to what I'm writing
kind
at
of
the time. But otherwise, yes, of course, he reads many books. But,
do you read books to prepare for movies? Or
do
you watch movies for preparing for movies?
I usually like to read, if there's written material, it's best to read, the written pieces, which are usually more descriptive than maybe like a documentary. In the case of this film, there was a large documentary, which I still haven't seen yet, but I didn't use it as research, but the sections of it were used by the screenwriter when he gave us the script. It was digital, and you could there were locations,
Links.
there were internet locations in the script. So
Okay, Google
during
Maps links
yeah,
in the script.
yeah, except it linked to the film. So when Tony is calling the police to tell him that he's like kidnapping this man, the actual recording from
You had it.
reality was in the script.
Wow.
So you could hear it, and it would take you to that location, and it showed a tape recorder, and it was the voice of the real guy, which
cool.
was when I decided to do it. It was his voice was very interesting.
It's very interesting also that now we have the opportunity to integrate screenwriting with meta test, hyper test, or stuff.
Yeah.
And about kids, because that's a cult movie for me and my generation. And do you think it's still possible today to make such a wild, transgressive cinema?
Yeah, of course. I think there will be another Kids at some point. There are movies like that, maybe not as sort of specific as Kids. It was really like Larry Clark's energy, an extension of his still photography, like Tulsa and Teenage Lust. Do you know these books?
Yeah, I know Tulsa.
Yeah, so
It was a reference also for you.
yeah, we used Tulsa when we were doing Drugstore Cowboy, and later when I met Larry before Kids, he said, you know, man, you took that subject and you actually made a film. And he's like, I was trying to make a film. And Tina in Tulsa, he made a book because he found it difficult to make a film. So he did shoot film of his friends, and then he decided to just use a camera.
Okay.
And that he was recording it more in stills, but he tried to make a film, and there's footage of the same group of people. So I said, oh, you know, there's a friend who's gathering some money to make 10 different features, that maybe you could make one of the features. And that's where it started. And he was like, I'm all in, you know, I'll do, you know, like, so we had a meeting the next day. He met Harmony in the park, in the Washington Square Park, and he said, hey, kid, write this script. And he told him what he wanted, and Harmony wrote the script. And instantly, like within like 2 weeks, they had this screenplay ready to go. He had cast it, and it didn't go quite, you know, right then. There was a couple of years of raising the money, but you know, it was the same project. Yeah, it was all Larry's like insane energy of, you know, just grabbing people, and like, which he had done with Tulsa and Teenage Lust.
Yeah, that kind of photography when you gather people and take the stories from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Some way Herzog style, in the way that
Yeah. Which I wonder, you know, I don't think that Larry may have known things like Herzog's films, but he was really doing his own thing. He was just sort of, he had it in his head. It had been forever since he'd wanted to make a film.
Yeah.
So he was just all go.
But I don't think it's just an Herzog stuff. It's just that reality exists, so you can't make a film without considering it.
Yeah.
You have to consider it.
Yeah, that's great.
And about Infinite Jest, why in the end you never made the movie?
Well, it was for HBO, and they hadn't really made a series quite yet. Maybe Sopranos, but it was to be a series, and the book is so big that and I had some friends of mine who were going to write it with me, and we just had this bad meeting where the kids that were going to write it were more like the kids in Kids, and the executives were like, what are these kids, you know what, these kids are crazy, you know, they look strange and we don't like them. They hadn't taken a bath in like weeks, so the day after our meeting it was just like, no, you're not.
So taking a bath, it's important sometimes.
Yes, and in this case, yeah, and being on time, they were late, and there was all kinds of stuff.
Being on time is important. Well, Gus, thank you so much
Okay,
for
thanks.
this time. Sì, non poteva andare meglio, cioè, sì, poteva andare meglio, però non nelle mie proiezioni poteva solo andare peggio. Già che ha parlato è tanto. Comunque questo è un regista che ho studiato, a cui tengo tanto. Cioè, la domanda che gli ho fatto sul tema della tesi, la risposta, poi me la devo rivedere perché non ascoltavo quello che diceva ovviamente, però stavo anche pensando già alla domanda successiva. Ma poi l'avevo beccato in bagno. Quando sono andato in bagno, lui era in bagno. Ma poi gli ho chiesto cos'è in comune con Pasolini, ha detto siamo entrambi gay. E lui l'ha conosciuto un mese prima che morisse Pasolini. Allora, questo vlog è stato chiaramente un fallimento, però apre la strada al futuro del vlogging di Arte Settima, che sarà guidato da me. E quindi vloggeremo tutto, vloggeremo Venezia, vloggeremo Cannes, vloggeremo il Comic Con di Napoli, vloggeremo il Comic Con di Bergamo. Che altro vloghiamo?
No, vloggeremo il nostro festival l'anno prossimo sicuramente.
Vloggeremo il nostro
Magari
festival.
pure le nostre vacanze a luglio, vi portiamo con noi, o magari no.
Io voglio diventare il cane secco di Arte Settima, possiamo dirlo?
Allora ogni settimana devi spararne uno.
Ma
Se non
appena ho il
facciamo
telefono
nulla-
nuovo.
Se questi vlog andranno bene, compreremo gli occhiali che registrano al Pasco.
Sì, che poi Zino ce li ha e non li usa.
Così potrete, allora, o ne
Lo
compriamo
sai
un
che
altro
Zino
paio.
in tutte le puntate c'ha gli occhiali che registrano, ma non li usa?
Dovrebbe darli a te, prendersi quelli.
Darli a me.
No, magari sono pure graduati, i tuoi sono
I miei sono
graduati. Io